My name is Dylan CineMasai Green, and welcome to the Real Notes podcast. I speak with rappers, producers, journalists, and other hip-hop adjacent figures about their relationship with movies, and, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is Chicago-via-Maryland-via-Virginia rapper, producer, and animator McKinley Dixon. We spoke about the Scream and Final Destination franchises, our definitions of what makes a Scream Queen, Snow Dogs, Tekkonkinkreet, being inspired by Toni Morrison and the late Japanese director Satoshi Kon, the pros and cons of live band hip-hop, and the creative process behind his latest album, Magic Alive. Come fuck with us.
It's beautiful out here today. Summer is in full effect in Chicago. Has summer started yet? Summer has started yet, right?
Nah, not for like another week.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm already wrong on the podcast, bro. I'm already wrong, bro. That's crazy.
Oh, stop it.
That's crazy. Cut that.
Nah, man.
Just to another section.
Nah, man, we'll make it. That's a fine thing to be wrong about. It's been warm as hell for the last couple weeks. Yeah. Like even out here. Exactly. I know Chicago summers aren't super intense, but they're nice. Yeah. I've been out to Chicago for the summer and it's cool.
Great. Yeah, everything's happening. Honestly, I love being in my crib, but Chicago and I feel bad sometimes being in my crib all the time just because, maybe just young or whatever. And it's like, but also just Chicago summers be so overwhelming that you just be doing so much. It is okay to sometimes feel in your crib anyway.
Right. What do you, what's the most overwhelming Chicago summer you've ever had? Because I feel like, well, actually, no. Before you answer that, how long have you been in Chicago? Because I know you're not from Chicago.
So I've been in Chicago for about 3 years now.
Okay.
3 years now, yeah. So, high-key, I'm usually going on tour during the summertime, which is its own whole thing that I will have to figure out and eventually come to terms with, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I'm usually on tour during the summer. So, this is my first summer, in the city, and it also happens to be the first summer I released Magic Alive. So it's a really interesting, juxtaposition right now, though. But it's cool. I'm happy I got a lot of work in the fall and in the winter, so it's nice to have some chill time right now. Time to get a little job and shop or something. Funny.
What do you want to do for the summer? Now that you don't got nowhere to go for the time being?
That's a good ass question. High-key, I don't even really be thinking about it. I don't know what I want to do for the summer, man. I think I just want to work a little gig that got structured. You know what I mean? I love chilling and I'll be animating. So I love animating. I love having fun. But I also just sort of I like a little 9 to 3. Something light. I'll make a little coffee for 9 to 3 or work at a little shop. I think that is also just a joy of the rapper Bamboo. He told me one day, he was like, yo, don't keep a day job for as long as you can. And it's my first time not having a day job for a while. That's real dope. I like it. I like having time for myself, but, I think I also, my mama's son, so I can get a little bit of structure in it.
Yeah, idle hands and all that.
Exactly. And it's definitely and I'm working on my craft too, and I'm also making music. That's a whole ass job. There's a whole conversation you said there about how music, I'm not using that as a job right now. That's I'm not saying that it's something to use that job. It's a big job. But right now, what I want out of summer, shit, I don't know. I'm taking it day by day, making sure that I do what I want every day. Do what I need to do as well. Trying my best.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. What you want out of summer?
That's a good question too. I want to try to do some more live shit. I've been planning one of those for a little while that may or may not happen. I'm just waiting on people to let me know what's good. And I want to try to travel. I don't know if it's gonna happen. One of the places that I really want to come back to is Chicago because I haven't been in a couple of years. I
Yeah.
used to come. I used to come out there, or no, I came out for 2 summers in a row when I was working at Pitchfork, and I came to the festival.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like me and my sister are planning a Six Flags trip right now. We're trying to go probably like the end of July, beginning of August,
Oh yeah.
something like
I
that.
love that.
So like,
Yeah. If you went to Chicago, let me know.
yeah, yeah, I know. Easy, easy,
Yeah.
easy. And what else? Oh, I'm just, like I'm just looking for work. I'm back freelancing more or less full time
Yeah.
now. On top of the stuff I'm doing over at Hearing Things. So,
Yeah.
I'm just getting myself readjusted to the grind again because I was out the game for like 6 months.
Yeah. And that's real.
And now
You gotta be out for a little bit. Exactly.
yeah,
Sometimes you gotta be
yeah.
out for a little bit. I'm happy to hear that though. I'm glad that you sort of reacquainting yourself with something that you were familiar with. It's cool to sort of come back with fresh eyes on stuff.
Yeah, yeah, even though it hasn't really even been a year, I'm just like this has been my life for a decade. So it really is just like riding a, it's right, yeah, no, it's like riding a really it's like riding a really fragile bike. Like only you know how to ride it, and if you come at it with even just a little bit too much pressure, it'll just
Exactly.
so
Exactly. Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. That's the way to put it. Well,
But damn, I'm sorry. What?
welcome back.
Thank you. I'm honestly happy to be here. I'm like I don't want to sound all doom and gloom. I'm happy to be here.
No, we're happy to have
But
you. Welcome back. Yeah.
yo, what's cracking, everybody? Y'all welcome back. Well, y'all welcome back to what we got going on. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't need to say it. We just said it. It's rainy here in Jersey. It's sunny out in Chicago. My name's Dylan Green, CineMasai. Got a lot of names. Do a lot of shit. Outside, inside, all sides. Just I don't know. I'm feeling good today. I feel pretty well rested. I've been watching a lot of things, and I'm happy to be here today to talk to somebody else who's just like, I don't know, just sitting down with all your stuff and even just talking to you now, like just like being reminded, even though I already knew that you worked in animation and like did that stuff, like just being reminded that you do that, just like you're just like you do like 80 million different things. But I feel like at this point now that Magic Alive is out and in the world, also Magic Alive is out and in the world. It's everywhere you can find it.
Out everywhere you get records at.
Yeah, fucking go grab a vinyl if you can find them. I think they might be sold out.
They might,
but they might be. But my man who's here today, he's in Chicago. He's from Maryland and Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
He's a rapper, he's a poet, he's an animator, maybe potentially sometime producer. I actually wasn't 100% clear on that.
Yeah.
You a producer sometimes?
Yeah,
cool.
The first 2 records, yeah.
Thought so. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, like spellcaster, animator extraordinaire, fucking I don't really like Magic Alive has me thinking a lot about like Full Metal Alchemist and like State Alchemist and alchemy, but we'll get into that later. McKinley fucking Dixon is here,
what's
man.
Up, y'all? What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yo, thank you. So like, well, first off, thank you so much for being here. It means the world to be doing this with you. The album's great. I wrote about it for Bandcamp, and
Thank you.
yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Man, just like thank you for being here.
No, thank you for having me. I remember when we first met, it was at Guy's show around Valentine's Day. February 12th or something when that show was. But
nah, I wasn't at that show. The first time we met was at the Wi-Fi God and Uncle John show.
Uncle John, yeah. That show, that one was a surprise. But first time we met, yeah, I remember just being like, you are very important, and it's good to sort of have people like that, and it was definitely sort of like, it was a great respect to me. So cool to be here now.
That means the world to hear. And like I went through my email because I was searching for something else. I was looking through the wrong email for for stuff to do this, and I found an email that you sent me in 2019.
Whoa.
Just like on the humble, you were just like, "Hey, I'm McKinley Dixon." Like this was before.
That's great.
This was before my mama and
Yeah.
everyone who looks
Yeah.
like her. This was years. I had never seen this email.
That is
I don't know how I missed it, but like I just found it, like literally 2019. I could go find the date, but
that
like
is
I'm not gonna do all that.
crazy, man. Because that's how I
So
do it. That's so crazy.
Like I was it really kind of knocked me on my ass, because when we met and you were like telling me all these things, I was like super appreciative, but then to see that and be like, oh, you've like really been here for a long time.
I live what I say. Exactly. I live what I say. No, it's the, you know, I mean, eventually we gonna make it work. So see that?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All in due time, bro.
Exactly.
And yeah, like it's been, yeah, I mean like once again, like the progress you've made over the last 4 years, and just like the way you've established yourself, and just like it's just like everything about, not even just the music, but like the presentation of like how you go about it is just so unique, so interesting. It's like really eye-catching for me as a person who loves everything cartoons, comic books, anime, you name it. Like I'm just like I don't know, we felt like this felt very kindred, especially this project. So you know, I'm just, yeah, like I'm congratulations, B, I'm just happy to do this.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot to talk about for all that, because that's definitely a huge influence on this record. All of that. You know, I got my second iPad here just to get all the accuracy and the names. We're gonna get into it.
All right, man. Yeah. Well, before we even get into that, I want to ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here. What was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Oh, last movie or TV show I watched that I had a strong opinion about. Oh. So I just been like going back and watching a lot of franchises. I just watched all of Scream and Final Destination. I did all those franchises like about in the last like 2.5 weeks. Crazy. And I would say I really, I've never seen Scream before, right? But I've seen Final Destination.
Wow. Okay.
So I was doing sort of a trade, like one person was switching off, so the other one. So I had never seen Scream, and I watched Scream for the first time, and I was like, holy shit, this is actually exactly like, I see it. It was consistent the whole time, you know. I was having a great time. I was like, Scream 1 through 3, this is crazy. Not only the intersection of the time, but like who did it, like, and like him playing on his own things, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, shouts out Wes Craven, because I had a really good time watching that. And then Final Destination, I've seen Final Destination, but I was doing like a rewatch, and Final Destination 1 through 3, a really good presentation of like early James Wan. And you really are like, oh, I see why he is who he is now. You know what I mean?
I always forget James Wan was involved in Final Destination.
He did the first 3. I think the first 2. I can look it up now, but he did the original. And I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. And then Final Destination 4 comes out, and you're like, oh, it's all horrible. It's horrible. It was horrible because it's the 3D craze. So every other shot, something
right.
And it's 2011, so it's abysmal. So those are my most recent things that I watched that I have strong opinions on. I'm thinking about doing Child's Play next. I'm fine.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. And like horror franchises too. So let's start with Scream, because I mean, like I've seen the first one. I actually no, I've come to think of it, I think I've seen every one of them except for, was the last one 6 or 5?
6. Yeah. Oh.
So I saw 6, but I never saw 5.
Yeah.
What's it called? My partner, huge Scream fan.
Yes.
Really big Wes Craven fan, and in particular, Wes Craven's New Nightmare is one of their favorite movies. So like I've seen all the Scream movies. Even before we started dating, like I've been in on Scream for a while. I didn't love 4. I also didn't really love 3, but like 1 and 2 are a ton of fun. Jada Pinkett Smith in 2, and like the scene, her scene in the movie theater is one of my favorite scenes in a horror movie ever. It's just like silly and stupid and fun. you
It's
know?
great. And it's just like hilarious that he just did it again. Scream 2 is Scream 1. It's Jada Pinkett Smith is Drew Barrymore, genius. You know what I mean? Like it was just, yeah, I loved it. And Scream 3, I was like, you stuck the landing. You stuck the landing really well for a pre 2000 movie. I guess the first one was, no, it was 97, I think, 98, and then 2000. So like, I
Yeah.
think it was something like that. But like, I just watched this movie. But I was like, you stuck the landing on this one. You did a good job for pre 2000. So I really enjoyed the Scream. Scream 4, I was like, they tried to start the franchise up again. They tried to step their foot in it again, but it just didn't work out. They were like, we should get it. And then Scream 5 and 6, I was like, yeah, okay, sometimes movies just need to wait until it's the 2020s. Like,
Yeah.
just wait. You know, you need that diverse cast. You just need that CGI. You know what I mean? You need a new face. You need someone who proves themselves because Wes Craven's hard to follow. Wes Craven is hard to
Yeah.
follow. You know, yeah, crazy movies.
Sure is.
I love that movie.
Like, so I mean, like, this being your first time watching the franchise and like it being kind of the ground floor of like meta horror commentary, like the like it like obviously we don't get Scary Movie without the Scream movies.
Exactly.
So like, what was it? How did you? I mean, like in particular with the first one, like how did you enjoy the first one? Having seen, like, because this is your first time watching the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
That's crazy.
It just made so much sense. And it was like, I think the real cool thing about the Scream movies, especially the first one, is the timing of it all. You know, I think it takes a real artist to be able to see the past, present, and future in some sort of way, right? And I think Wes Craven sort of being like, and I don't know if this is actually what it was, but sort of being like the change is coming. I can feel that it's time for me to parody myself, you know, before anyone else does that. You know, I think like, right, like 90s, like, it's just, I think the timing of it is the best part about Scream 1. And just, then also the fact that Ghostface is just the everyday character, you know, like, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's really smart to be able to do that. And then also be like, I'm the one that made the tropes. And now y'all will not be able to capitalize on that either because he is that nigga when it comes to horror. And then he was that nigga when it came to comedy horror, you know, like meta horror,
Yeah.
you know, it's like referencing himself and the movies he has within it was just like for 97, I was like, damn, a 97 movie like that with blockbuster movie, I was like, this is pretty fucking he created a bunch of Scream Queens and then credited them in there. Like that was also cool. Making Scream Queens like a genuine Scream Queen. If we're gonna be real,
Yeah.
for me, Emma Roberts is not a genuine Scream Queen. He really tried to force her
No.
into being a Scream Queen. She's not a Scream Queen. No, she's not. Like the two sisters from fucking American Horror Story and The Conjuring, those are Scream Queens. Like main character of Scream, that's a Scream Queen. Courtney Cox, I put her in that for a little
Yeah.
bit, you know what I mean? Like I won't say she is a Scream Queen, but
What about Nev Campbell?
Nev Campbell, that's her. Nev Campbell, 100% Scream
Yeah,
Queen.
yeah.
100, that's her name.
Yeah.
I knew she had like off the beaten path name. Nev Campbell, yes, 100% Scream Queen, like totally Scream Queen. But I'm like Emma Roberts, not a Scream Queen. But I do love how Wes Craven created
Yeah.
Scream Queens in that. That was pretty like I love when you see us. You can visibly see an artist be like, I really love horror, you know, so I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah.
I mean, like, I agree about Emma Roberts not being a Scream Queen, but I will say the scene in Scream 4 where she like fakes all her injuries and like throws herself into the table and rips her hair out, like, to me that was the best scene in that whole movie. It's the only scene I remember from the movie, and it was like that was a really cool scene. And then they tried to throw her in what was that Fox show that Ryan Murphy made?
Scream Queens, I think is the name. What?
Yeah, I think it was literally called Scream Queens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, she's
And
not a Scream Queen, y'all.
nah.
It's just she's just not.
They
Like,
tried it.
they really did. It's like she has too much of a catalog pre Scream Queen to be a Scream Queen. You know what I mean? So Yeah, I was like, this just isn't really landed. It really isn't landed. I was like, even Hayden Panettiere in this movie is more of a screen queen than I would say. Yeah, the movie just wasn't. It was. They tried to reboot it. I respect. They were like, eh.
Mm,
They're like, nope. I was like, I also love how Ghostface. You put that mask on, all of a sudden you're 6 foot. Like I was like Emma
yeah.
Roberts. Whenever I saw that nigga, and now I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna have to look over my photo everybody. But whenever I saw that nigga, I was like, yo, box him out, run up on him.
Yeah.
He be doing flips, bro.
Like,
Like he just be tripping, and I'm like, stomp him out. But that's the whole thing about that movie. You can't be thinking too much about it. I was like, that's why I ain't no niggas in here because
right.
I was like,
Yeah.
hit him. I was like, he's on the ground, like get him.
And yeah, and all the ones who are in it all get iced in the first like 30, 40 minutes,
Yes,
like
yes. There's this. I think there's a scene in number 5 where Courtney Cox is dating. Maybe 6. Courtney Cox is like famous, right? She living in New York, and she's dating this big ass nigga, and he don't say nothing in the show besides just being in a penthouse apartment. And then he gets
yeah.
killed in a penthouse apartment, and Ghostface ass just goes, "All those muscles didn't do nothing." And I was like, "You see that? See that? See that?" He ain't had nothing to say
Yeah.
because honestly, it probably gave him that good that's a run for his fucking money. You know what I mean? That's a big nigga in there, bro. I'm not even a big nigga. It's like I could sit the guy. So I just love how you throw that mask on. He's 6 foot. Because I'm like Emma Roberts. Okay, okay, okay.
So now I gotta ask, what are your qualifications to be a scream queen? Because I feel like everyone's rubrics kind of different
I
in
think,
that regard.
yeah, I think if one of your earlier roles that is of prominence is in a horror movie, and then it propels you onto another horror role. Not necessarily like it. I think it depends on what you do with your next record, right? Like if you like what's her name? I'm gonna pull up her name, but the girl from American Horror Story season 1, I think Violet. Um, I think that wasn't her first role, but it was like a role that put her in the limelight. Let's see, we're gonna find her name from Horror House. It is. She got the big eyes. Yeah, I kind of just find it. There's so many things on Google nowadays. There's so many things on Google that I don't want to see. Oh, oh, Tessa, Tysa Farmiga. Tysa Farmiga. She is from American Horror Story season 1, and her older sibling is Vera Farmiga, right? And she, they are respectively in American Horror season 1, and her older sibling is in The Conjuring, and she's like the one who does all of that, right? And I think if your first role is a horror movie, and then you propel yourself into the limelight, and then you choose to do another horror movie, or you do something bigger, but then go back to horror movies frequently, that makes you a screen queen. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis has a huge role outside of, you know what I mean, the horror movies that she did, but one of her
Yeah.
earlier roles we remember before was Halloween, and then she continued to be in Halloween for
Yeah, that's the breakout. Yeah, for
Queenie, you know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Nev Campbell, her bigger roles are screen, but that was her big jump off point. You know, I think that makes you a screen queen. Like Emma Roberts, she was just in Unfabulous, bro. I remember that show, and that show wasn't scary at all. It was on Nickelodeon, so how is you starting out with that? Ariana Grande, I think she was in that show for. They tried to make her screen queen for a little bit. Tried to make Kim Kardashian screen queen for a little bit. See, I thought Kim Kardashian would eat in that, but you can't do that if you already, it's got to be your first joint. You got to be hungry, so that's what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So before we move on to Final Destination, how do you feel about Mia Goth? Is Mia Goth a scream queen?
Yes, I think Mia Goth is screen queen. That's an interesting one because she is in modern time where it's like streaming and big blockbuster movies. It's a different setting now just because you got to eat. You know what I mean? Like Jamie Lee Curtis could do Halloween and then chill if she wanted to, and then get another role
Right.
because that back in the day. And it's like I feel like Mia Goth. I also think another thing that adds to it is if you are creepy as fuck outside of your shit. Like I feel like Mia Goth is unsettling, bro. That's an
She's
unsettling
got that
right there.
face.
She looks
Yeah.
unsettling, and
Yeah.
then you hear
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
talk, and you're like, I thought you were from Tennessee, like and California, but it's just she's unsettling outside of the role too. So I would say she is screen queen. I ain't seen her in nothing besides her scary movies too. Now that I think about it,
It's funny because the first thing I saw her in was it was this Lars von Trier movie called Nymphomaniac. I don't know if you ever
she was
seen
a
or heard of it.
nymphomaniac.
She was in
Nymphomaniac. She was
she's in part two.
She was
She's
too.
she's Charlotte Gainsbourg. Like she like takes a lover, and Mia Goth is her like younger lover. I think she's in like
What?
the she. So that was the first place I'd ever seen her. But then after that, like she really started to lean into the horror stuff. She did
Nymphomaniac
she was in
definitely
the
counts. That definitely counts.
Okay, I because like I was kind of going back and forth on whether I'd consider Nymphomaniac like I guess it's like a kind of horror movie. Like
Yeah,
it's a little bit
it's
like
unsettling.
there's definitely some elements.
It sets you
It's
up.
unsettling
It sets you up to be a
for
scream queen. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, like anything Lars von Trier is like all Lars von Trier shit is like horror in some way, shape, or form, even if it's not like explicitly. Like it doesn't all have to be like Antichrist or the house that Jack built. It's all horror movie.
exactly,
um,
exactly. Oh man, yeah,
but
I would do
then
that.
but then she was in. You ever seen Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool? Because she was in that too. She was
Yeah,
crazy in
that
that.
one. She was crazy in that. She was crazy in
Yeah.
the trilogy she was in, and the most she was in a more recent one that I didn't think was that
Oh,
scary.
you're talking about X Pearl and Maxine.
Yeah,
That
great
trilogy.
trilogy,
Yeah.
great trilogy. And she was in um Frankenstein. The same. She was in Frankenstein.
Yep.
Yeah. When she was in
Yep.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, I'm thinking of fucking. I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of. What the fucking nigga just came out? What nigga just came out? Not Frankenstein.
Not
Oh,
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. I think Nosferatu. She was not in Nosferatu. She's in Frankenstein.
I was about to say she wasn't in Nosferatu.
Frankenstein.
That was Johnny Depp's daughter. There we
Leroy
go.
Depp. Yes.
Yeah.
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 So I'll say Mia Goth is Scream Queen. She is Scream Queen, definitely.
Okay. I was gonna say she's she's definitely hit that level. I think.
Definitely.
But with Final Destination, you've already seen. I don't know how many of those you'd seen beforehand, but what was it like going back to those?
Honestly, I love Final Destination. I also,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not
great.
gonna hold you. I love being a nigga that's like, oh, you ain't know James Wan was in this? Like, I love niggas be like, wow, Final Destination 1, 2, and 3. What a great, cool set of movies. I'm like, yeah, you know who did it, don't you? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you know him famously as. It's just, I love being like that. So I love watching those movies because I also really think it's cool. Like, that idea is just so cool. It's just such a great way to, like, do horror. Like, it's just innovative. I think
Yeah.
both of these franchises are just so innovative. And things that have not only never been done before and again well, but also are referenced forever. Like, even in the new Final Destination movie, I just saw that joint in theaters. It got the fucking log, the log joint. Like, he's like, it's like you reference yourself, you're iconic. You know what I mean? Like, you were able to reference yourself. It's like, I really like that movie too. So, yeah. I like it.
I wish I liked the new one more because I also love the Final Destination movies. I loved the last one. I loved the whole like retro futurist thing, and then like it turns out like, oh, it's just like a prequel. It's all the lead up to the first movie and the plane and shit. But like this one was like in particular with the log shit, it felt like it was a little too self-aware, and it was like because they it feels like the people behind it just figured out that the log scene from 2 is like super iconic and like we all love it, and they're just kind of like, oh hey, we get it, we know how much you love this thing, look at us, look at all the log trucks. And then of course the movie ends with them getting crushed by the logs, and it's just like, okay, we get it, like that the joke's a thing, like relax, you're being a little too thirsty right now.
But Tony Todd.
But yeah, I mean,
Tony
like
Todd.
it like that got me. How could it not?
Exactly.
How could it not? Like like you look at him and then you find out that his the last line was improvised and he was just they just told him to talk to the camera and talk to the fans and I'm like I'm not made of stone. Like that shit fucked me up.
Exactly. And
Like,
I was like, whoa. I was like, I didn't know. Like, as if that nigga ain't know. Like, as if he ain't involved in all this. I was like, how could he have
right.
for the camera? Yeah, crazy. I mean, I agree. I think it definitely was very aware of itself. I just feel like I do love when a franchise like that. It's like, oh, it's time. It's time for the reboot. Yeah, I'll watch two
Yeah.
more of those joints. Like, let's give me two. It looked good too. It looked good.
Yeah. And yeah, admittedly, I'll probably watch more of them too. I just like just like overall it just kind of felt weaker especially compared to the last one. The last one was like so crazy good and like completely caught me by surprise that I was like it just kind of paled to me. But I'd watch it again. Like it's Final Destination.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking for it to like break the mold or anything crazy like that.
Exactly.
I was kind of like, it just didn't really hit me.
Yeah, and even Tony Todd's character in and of itself, I was like, I understand it. Though, to me, Tony Todd was more like the devil in the earlier ones, but I get it. He actually was, he's involved, so he knows about it. I kind of liked him being the devil more than him, but I get it. It's
yeah.
But yeah, the one before, I totally forgot the one before that sets it all up. That shit was crazy. That was a really great ending. Cause that really had me just be like,
yeah, cause then you got to go run it back and be like, oh wow, it really is the 90s, and like I was like, oh, nobody has a cell phone. Exactly. That was the thing for me. I was like, nobody has a phone. I was like, wait a minute,
niggas texting each other this whole time. Like I literally was in that movie and I was like, they're disseminating information incredibly slow for somebody who knows what the fuck is going on. They know all about this shit, and I was like, whoa, wait, they don't. This is 97. Yeah, it was great. That was great.
Yeah, no, that shit was insane. Okay, now I want to go all the way back and learn more about your viewing history. What's the first movie experience you can remember having?
Like
it could be at the theater, it could be at it could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house. Just like first thing that comes to mind for you.
Probably Snow Dogs with my mama. The Cuba Good.
Wow, let's talk about Snow Dogs.
Yeah.
Damn.
We went to go see it in theaters, me, my mama, and my sister, and one of my little friends. That movie came out, I want to say 2006. I think 2006. We all went to go see it, and I remember that was the first time. Oh, that movie came out in 2002, bro. Holy shit. 2006. Yep. What am I talking about? Yeah, so I saw
10 years old, man.
Damn. I saw Snow Dogs in theaters in maybe like 2003 because movies was in theaters for January. God damn, that's crazy. That's a lot longer than I thought. But I saw it in theaters, and I remember it was the fire alarm or something happened in the theater, and we all had to evacuate the theater. And that was the first time I ever thought like, whoa, like niggas do have emergency, like the theater. Like, it was just weird being like, oh, I guess I am completely aware that you could have problems in a movie theater, as I'm watching Snow Dogs, like, but, it was 2002, so I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I didn't know what it was. So, yeah, that's why I remember, that's like one of my first movie remembering Snow Dogs.
Do you remember how far into the movie you got before that happened?
We weren't at the climax. I think we were like 2/3 of the movie, because I remember definitely being like, damn, I guess if we don't see how it ends, but also it's crazy we have the fucking mall and the fucking sand into the fire. The movie theater just got evacuated, right? Like, I think I never saw the end of the movie. I don't think.
Okay. I was gonna ask if you ever finished it.
No,
that's funny.
I never saw the end of the movie. I think he wins the race. I don't know if it was a race, what it was. I was a Baltimore boy, so I was like, man, Snow Dogs. You ain't connecting me with this one. You didn't get me with this. You're not letting me leave. I'm not leaving the Air Bud franchise that I know and love to come and y'all not gonna get me on that. So yeah.
And then what's crazy? Like 10 years later, they did there was a Snow Dogs and like Air Bud crossover because like Air Bud has a bunch of kids and they call them Air Buddies. So they made like they made a Snow Buddies movie, which was not good.
Exactly.
Nobody needs to watch it.
Exactly. And I was it was just so weird because I remember I don't want to see old dogs go on an adventure, man. Like I was watching that shit, I'm like, Husky, them niggas are stressed. Like this is a job. Airbud, he would just walk into the shot, dribble the ball, make the shot, and then walk out the shot. He wasn't talking to nobody. And then the issue with his kids is that they were all talking too goddamn much. Like it was like you got the little gangster one, you got the little Italian one, you got like the girl for some reason, and the whole litter is only one. I was like, how all these puppies have these all individual like identities, yet like Airbud would just walk up, do what that nigga needs to do, and leave. I don't even know if that nigga had an owner. I feel like who was Airbud's owner? Like
he was the little kid who played on the basketball team with him. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that nigga got left, bro. No, that nigga got left. Yeah, I totally forgot that he even had a little bro. Like, oh, I guess he was the nigga. Because how else would he got on the basketball in the summer team?
Right, exactly.
All right, no, I'm back.
That's funny. But the only part of I remember two things about Snow Dogs. Cuba Gooding Jr. was a dentist.
Yes.
I don't know why that imprinted on me. My fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to shout out the Real Notes Patreon one time. For as little as $5 a month, you get exclusive goodies like video of every interview, 2-day early access to every interview, an invite to the Real Notes Discord server, exclusive access to the Real Talk Movie Night archive, and early pre-sale links for all live events. If you want to give a little more, you get other exclusives like retro 60-second movie reviews and monthly 90-minute workshops with me, where we can discuss whatever creative questions or projects you might have going on. Head over to patreon.com/realnotes. That's REELNOTES to join right now. I repeat, all videos will only be available on the Patreon. Thanks for listening. Shout out to my patrons. Now let's get back to talking. But there's like a scene where like, I don't know if he's like dating somebody or is having like a midlife crisis about like his love life or something, but he has a dream where he's like holding a baby or no, he's either holding a baby or like he is the baby, but it's just like it's a baby, but it's got like Cuba Gooding Jr.'s head, and like it's just like a baby with Cuba Gooding Jr.'s head, like yelling or screaming or something, and then he wakes up in the middle of the night, and then that's all the movie I remember. I saw it that one time, and that's all that stayed in there.
I don't even know how to even search that up, but it was a Disney movie. So, they used to just be doing that with niggas. They would just put your big head on the little baby body. But that sounds, the way they make this movie look on the internet, all these old ass photos of it, you would have thought this movie was incredible. So it was horrible. It was a horrible movie. He was a dentist in this. Yeah.
Yeah, that like one day maybe if I'm curious enough I'll go back and rewatch Snow Dogs.
I know, right? I'm like if I just got like an hour 30 to just in between shit, I don't know. What is the perfect timing to watch Snow Dogs?
I don't know. Yeah, no, like it's just like one of those. Like, remember when Disney Plus was first a thing, and they were like, every Disney movie ever is on Disney Plus, and it's like, go watch Snow Dogs and fucking The Black Cauldron and I don't know, The Big Green. You ever watched The Big Green before? Like, I don't fucking.
I remember when that came out, and I was like, I feel like I see Snow Dogs always mentioned in these type of things, but it's like. They must have forgot that this movie was not good. Like, I can't, like, it would be on, like, the Disney Plus front page is like Snow Dogs. And it's like, not today. You almost got me today. Not today. Close.
Right.
Close. I went on that bitch and I'm just watching American Dragon Jake Long, bro.
Let's go, man. Yeah.
I watched that whole series and I was like, I don't need Disney Plus anymore.
Right. Yeah, no, I was there for Teacher's Pet, The Simpsons, and Pepper Ann, and then I was like, I'm cool. I'm not
gonna hold you. All three of those make sense, my dude. All three of those make sense.
That's fun. I'm not. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, me saying American Dragon Jake Long, it sort of makes sense too. But I'm just telling you, all three of those make
Cool. That's
sense.
fine. I'm
They
cool
all
with that.
bangers. They all bangers back to back. They all bangers. They all bangers. It's just,
And it's
I know
I
you
just I just I just watched the Teacher's Pet movie. I want to say like 3 or 4 months ago because I had never seen it before, and like I was like a big fan of that show when it came out. Like I remember having like the Disney Adventures issue that had Teacher's Pet in it. I was like reading it. I was reading that on the way to my great grandmother's funeral. I was like 9 or 10 years old. Really weird, specific memory. But yeah, I went back and watched that movie, and it's like it's fucking Teacher's Pet the movie. Like
got.
if anybody, I don't know if people remember Teacher's Pet, but it was like Nathan Lane was a dog who wanted to be a boy, and he would like dress up like he would go to school with his owner and like dress up like a kid, and he became like the most popular kid in school. He was like a nerd. All the nerds loved him. He was a jock. All the jocks loved him, and he was just like, I'm a dog, but I want to be a. It was like it was very early 2000s. The guy who made a. If anybody's ever played the board game Cranium, the guy who did all the art for Cranium, did the art for Teacher's Pet. I think his name's Gary Baseman or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, Teacher's Pet was a time. I had a time with that one.
Teacher's Pet. Honestly, it's a banger. I mean, they was all bangers. They was all just like, I love that we just were at a point where it's like, fuck it, throw a dog in that bitch. What it got to do with
Yeah.
it? You're like, uh, let's make it a boy who wants to be a marine biologist, and let's give him a talking dog companion. And it's like, what's the end goal? It's like, nigga, that is the end goal. He wants to
That
be a
is the
marine
angle,
biologist,
yeah.
and he got a dog that can surf. And it's like, stamp 1997, $1 million first day.
Yeah.
Like it's like I think that
Yeah.
I love that that was an era that we existed in, like because it just was across all mediums. It was right before nigga was like, tighten up, tighten up. You don't need a dog talking every year.
Yeah. Man, okay. So I'm happy you brought that up because as you get older and you start to expand your palette and like really define your taste. I like to think of this as a capital M movie, like the type of thing that really stopped you in your tracks and connected with you in an emotional or artistic or spiritual sense, just like something that was like more than just like 90 minutes of pure entertainment. What was the first one of those you can remember?
Oh, the first one.
It doesn't have to be the very first one, but like the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, first one that comes to
I
mind.
don't need you yeah, I don't need you giving yourself a headache, but
Yeah, because I'm like, damn, nigga, Pokemon one? No, but like, I think the first one, Tekkonkinkreet. Tekkonkinkreet was this really beautiful anime.
oh wow.
Yeah,
I know
you know
exactly what that
game,
is.
bro. Tekkonkinkreet,
Come on, man.
2006, Japanese, but made by Studio 4C, Michael Arias. It's based off the manga by Teo Matsumoto, I think. I think it's Teo Matsumoto, and it is just beautiful. It is a tale of gentrification. It follows these two orphans called named Black and White athletes, and they are part of the city called Treasure Town, and it's about them fighting gentrification as the city changes and as decisions come and as the seasons grow. And it's just a beautiful way of like the art is beautiful, the story is beautiful, the parts is beautiful. It's like it's also so simple, just naming the characters black, white, like the gentrifiers, the snakes, you know what I mean? The cops are the cats, like just so easily, it's just such a beautiful story, beautiful movie, and it really just sticks with you and me. And it just, yeah, incredible. I got the manga, like, I got all of his work. It's, yeah, big one. That's a big one. And if you've seen that movie, go, if you ever seen that movie, you will 100% agree with me. That movie is brilliant.
All I remember about the movie is how it looks because I remember when it came out and I watched it, but I haven't seen it since. But like all I remember is just watching it and just staring at it and being like, wow, like
Yeah.
this shit is crazy.
Dude,
Like what are we
yeah.
doing? You know, like it's just
Exactly.
yeah, you know, like yeah, no, like stuff like that and I don't know, stuff like that and like all Satoshi Kon
Yes,
shit. Like
exactly.
Paprika is one of my favorite movies ever, and like that's just I don't know, just like real like mind expanding. Like oh, this is what you can do with like a pen and a paper and fucking
Exactly.
digital whatever animation tech. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like completely change the way you see the world type shit.
Exactly.
Like
And it's just like so crazy because like those like Satoshi Kon is another one. I'll pull him up too. I got all this shit right there. Satoshi Kon is another one. He originally, rest in peace, he originally was a filmmaker, and his whole thing was he was like the camera is too slow for my eye. I'm gonna do animation. So then he switched to animation, and it's just like from there it was just like he made brilliant works of art with a consistency that is rivaled to filmmakers that we revere higher than him. You know, I am, and everyone who's around me will know, I'm an app proprietor. I'm an app proponent of being like these these like mangaka art should be viewed in the same sphere as writers. You know what I mean? Like, why isn't
yeah,
Oda, the nigga who made One Piece, revered the same as George R. R. Martin? You know, it's like, honestly, it's because the medium. And it's like, but because high key, one of them is consistent and has been doing it for like that amount of time. You know what I mean? And I think that sort of thing, I am someone who will fight for being like Satoshi Kon is, you know, Christopher Nolan. You know, like Satoshi Kon is up there with the greats that transcend, like we could even go bar for bar with other anime specific Eastern movies like Studio Ghibli. We can even hit Western movies, Pixar and things, even the indie sphere. And I even hit him and let him keep going and go into live action shit and be like, Satoshi Kon could go bar for bar with your favorite, like, Aronofsky, who obviously references him before. I think I believe he's one of the greats. And that's, yeah. Paprika, Perfect Blue, Millennium Actress, even Tokyo Godfathers, that's not even like mind bending, but it's the best Christmas movie, you know what I mean, of all time. And it's like,
yeah, shit is so soulful,
it's
man. I
just
love Tokyo
crazy,
Godfathers.
it's just crazy. And I think
Yeah.
that shit he's, he's one of the best. And there's others, but we'll get into them, but he is definitely a huge influence for this record, my record, and my outlook on life because it is like, oh, anything you believe you can do, you just gotta start it, bro. Like for real. Like you you don't think film isn't working for you? You like film's not working? Fuck it. Like what if I just draw it? Like I could just draw it, right?
Right.
Niggas are like, we've never seen anything like this before. You know what I mean? It's you never
And like he only made 4 movies:
like that ass.
Perfect Blue, Millennium Actress, Tokyo Godfathers, and Paprika. That's it.
That ass.
You know,
Like
like
that's like
it's crazy. Like
that,
how do you how did you leave that type of legacy and make that type of imprint? And you only made 4 movies.
exactly. And then
Like
like Paranoia
and
Agent, which was like another
right,
niche, very specific niche show that
right,
like if you
yeah,
not looking for it, you're not gonna make it past episode 2. But if you make it past episode 2, it's really like it's worth it, Yeah,
hmm
I love Satoshi Kon. He's definitely up there.
yeah. He also wrote, directed, and animated 3 episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure too, which
Which
is
is
really
also
fun.
crazy, yeah. And he's
I'm
involved in
pretty
Animatrix. I think he's in Animatrix too. I think he's in Animatrix.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He also did part of I watched earlier this year. I watched Memories for the first time, and he did the first.
Oh,
He did
maybe
the
I'm thinking
first.
of Memories. Memories is crazy. Maybe I'm thinking of Memories.
Yeah, no, he did the first third of Memories.
Yeah.
The one where they're on the space station with the holograms and
That
shit.
was
Like that was
fucking
him.
awesome. Memories is fucking awesome.
So crazy.
Yeah, yeah. That's on Prime, I think. Yeah, you could bleep that out
Yeah,
because fuck them niggas. But find Memories if you can. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that shit is awesome. Yeah, really,
yeah.
really good
Super.
mythology.
Yeah, no, super fire. Okay, before we get into the record proper, I want to do the same thing for music. When did music become capital M music for you? Not even in terms of you wanting to make it, but just in terms of you being like fascinated by it and actively being like, I love music.
There's three moments that I could pinpoint. There's going to my grandmother's church, my grandmother's church that she used to go to. Mount was not even named, it's one of, if not the largest mega churches in Jamaica, Queens, right? And I've been going there for about, well, I was there about 30 years. So it's like, I've seen this church go from, it's a smaller thing to now it is, kind of what's it doing Sunday service. It's like in this church. And it's definitely like watching them, because it also was juxtaposed with my upbringing in Annapolis, Maryland, right? Where it's like that city is very white, bro. I love Annapolis. It's underrated. It's beautiful, right on the water. But that city, like, you niggas don't know. So I definitely, the church that I was there was just, it's the saints, the saints, the saints, the saints. It's very, it's like ominous music. It's ominous Catholicism. It's like ominous, right? So, but I would go to my grandmama church, and it's a Methodist church, and it's like 60 niggas in the fucking like choir dancing and singing. It's like the band. It's like I've known all these niggas for like since I was kids. It really just showed, that was my first instance music became, when I was like, wow, this is really something serious. My second instance was Most Def's Black on Both Sides, because that one, I found that one in like late 2000s, and I was like, that is my first and best. That's my favorite rap record of all time. A young Moose Def at the time, Tennessee debut record. Songs are hitting, they're all catchy. Every single, the way he raps is incredible. You know what I mean? It was just like a brilliant moment for me to be like, it is like everybody can rap, including me. You know what I mean? And that was the sparks of that, right?
Word.
The sparks. And then second one, I was gonna say My Chemical Romance because they was a big deal, but honestly, if you're being not funny, probably Blues Below the Heavens, Blue and Exiles Below the Heavens, 2009. It really then solidified extra that it's like, okay, not only can anyone do it from certain regions, but anyone can do it even if you don't exist in New York, Los Angeles, Florida. You know what I mean? The big ones. So I think that one really
Right.
sort of made me be like, oh, any nigga riding the bus was sort of what he's feeling together and string, string word. I think that sort of was like a big one because like unlike Black on Both Sides had a bunch of big names on it. You know what I mean? Not big names, but names that if you pay attention, these are all big. But
Right.
Blue and Exiles Below the Heavens, it was like Blues debut. Exile was like getting his foot into the mainstream. Like Young Miguel's on there, It's like I think Aloe Black
Yeah,
on that
Aloe
record.
Black's
Aloe
on there,
Black's
I'm
on
pretty
there.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see that
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Aloe
yeah.
Black's on there. Like
Yeah.
it's just like a lot of things that just set it up to be like everybody can do this. And then I was like, oh, including me. That's when it was like, first I was like everybody can do this, and then that one I was like, so yeah, those are my three capital unknown.
Yeah, I mean, like "Dancing in the Rain" is one of like the
Uh,
most heartbreaking songs you'll ever hear. It's
yeah,
like I can't think of many other songs that could just like disintegrate your heart and then put it right back together. It's just like, this is terrible. You missed the bus. You didn't even have money to ride the bus in the first place. Like your partner's mad at you, but like you want to go make music, but like fuck it, do it. It's
exactly.
gonna be fine. Dance in the rain. Like I don't know, man. Like I hear it, and just immediately like my brain, just everything else goes away, and that's the song.
Exactly.
But like you could say that, but like for me, I could say that about every. I could say that about damn near every song on that album. Like "Below the
Exactly.
Heavens" is
Exactly.
fucking incredible.
Exactly.
You know.
You just get, yeah, man, below the fucking, and that was a big one. I got all the blue stuff, but that's like my big one that I love. I reckon that sort of what is,
Right.
that is the end of Man's Alive is because so,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, you mentioned MCR. I learned recently, or not super recently. Like actually, no, I've known this for a while. They're from my area, Jersey. They're from Belleville.
Ooh,
Like Belleville's like 20 minutes away from me. They apparently they used to play some of their some of their early shows like at this spot near me called Dingbats.
cool.
Like
So cool.
they're like from my area. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And
Yeah, I
yeah, shout
love
out
them.
to
It makes sense that they are from. I think I knew they were from New Jersey because there's this one famous image of, I think it's Gerard Way watching 9/11 or some shit. Like, it's like,
oh wow.
dude, look up the picture. Like, Gerard Way, because that's what they be singing about. And they became a band because I think, like, he had, like, there was a lot to do with just, like, him processing a lot of things. And I think one of the things is, I think he saw 9/11. I think there's a picture of Gerard Way watching, looking at 9/11. Is that real? Is that, you type that out? I type it up too? Cause I think it's a thing. I think it's a
I'm I'm checking right now. Hang on. Um, I don't see it here.
wait. Gerard Way.
I have no idea. Yeah, no, I can't find it. But if
Oh,
anybody out there knows,
wait.
send it to one of us.
Wait, wait, wait,
Oh wait.
wait. Hold on. I don't know what. Okay. I can't, I guess I won't show you my tablet screen. What's the wrong way? Look at this.
What the? F-
Isn't that crazy? No, isn't that crazy? I'm not
yeah,
bullshitting y'all.
yeah.
It is literally.
Yeah, nah. Vice was always wild, but that's
Literally.
extra wild.
He said, I didn't see the
That's
planes
extra
hit. I
wild.
did see the buildings go down. From, I'd say, fairly close. It was like being in science fiction film or something. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So, I don't know how the fuck we got
Sounds
over.
about
Oh,
right.
that's because they're all from New Jersey. Yeah. So that's what they was
Yeah,
watching.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That's wild. But I mean, like I have a similar story. Like I remember getting picked up from school and being like driven home, and like like you could see the Twin Towers
Crazy.
from like a certain area, and yeah, I'll never forget like driving home and seeing just like a big ass orange ball in the middle of them and just smoke
Crazy.
coming like we're I'm like right outside the city.
Crazy.
So we all watched. Yeah, I was like we have that in me and
You
Gerard
went
Way
the
got that in
wrong
common.
way.
I guess
Y'all
like
saw 9/11.
I,
That's crazy, bro. That is
that's
so
wild.
crazy.
Yeah,
That is so
man.
crazy.
Oh Jesus. Yeah.
What the fuck?
We
Where's your
got that
Vice
forever.
article?
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But tell me tell me where did my brain just go? Tell me
I have to show you my screen. I'm not lying, y'all. I have to show you my
that's
screen.
hilarious. Tell me when you started making rap music.
Bro, it was when I was standing there watching.
Stop.
No. Oh my god, when I started making rap music. Okay. When I started making rap music. Shit, does anyone know? No, when I started making rap music was I think I think my first music was Tumblr,
Yeah.
2011 or 12. I was uploading like random little songs, and then I think my first full-fledged song was called "We Lovin' That Jazz." Me and my homies made a video for it in our dorm, and it's my friend David Music who filmed the video at that time. It was like a decade and like 3 or 4 years. But we filmed the video, and I remember he was pretty popular on Reddit because he does really great film stuff. I remember the video went first page on Reddit for a little bit through that, and it was like, it was just a funny thing. Like 2013, that was like the first song I made that was like, oh, anyone had heard, you know. So from there, it's just been a steady climb, keeping it true to the intentions and, myself. And now here we are, still doing all this jazz.
Man. Like and I mean like one thing I noticed I was reading your recent Stereo Gun piece and you had mentioned you had mentioned three people that I also love, so I had to bring up Black Milk, Quelle, Chris, and Odyssey, just as like three people who were
The
kind
trilogy,
of these like
the Trinity,
yeah.
bro, like the Trinity, and like niggas love talking about Kendrick Lamar with me. It's like, I get it, I do, but it's like in actuality, Quelle Chris is probably everything from Guns until now. Black Milk's If There's a Hell Below and
Yeah.
Odyssey's Rock Creek Park. Those three albums slash discography you'll actually hear in my music. You know, you won't, you could think you'll hear To Pimp a Butterfly, but if you go back far enough, like, this record was a year, this is, Who Thought They Hit was a year after Simplify. So this one was like jazz influence, and that was not even like anything. I had never even heard of the Butterfly at that point. And then you go a little bit further back. Now, We Loving That Jazz was 2013. So it's definitely funny that it has always been Butterfly. But those three, If There's a Hell Below is probably like my favorite record that came out that year. Because that's just a crazy, Black Milk is just insane. You know, all
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, I love that album. That also one of the best live shows I've ever seen. Me and my homie Kyle, shout out to Kyle if he's listening. We went to see fucking Black Milk and live band Nat Turner. They played at
that.
Webster Hall, I want to
So
say
good.
2014 or 2015. Like they toured a bunch within those 2 years, and I think they came back, and we saw it. The both of us bought copies of what's the album before If There's a Hell Below?
The Black,
No Poison, No Paradise.
yes, yes,
No
yes,
Poison, No
yes. The one
Paradise.
with the Quelle Chris feature. Yes. Great
We
record as
each
well.
we each bought a copy and got him to sign it. I just had Black Milk on the podcast earlier this year.
Black Milk is
Funny enough,
incredible.
he's
Underrated.
one of the best we got.
Yes.
Yeah, truly. Like in like a real way, he's
Yes.
underrated.
Genuine. Yes.
Yeah, but like so I mean, like you have your influences. You started putting your stuff together pretty early, but when did you know that music was going to become more than just a hobby for you? Like, when did it go from like, I love these artists, I want to make music with the homies, to like, I'm doing this, like this is going to be my thing? Because I also know that I mean, like, obviously you have a very close relationship with your mother.
Mm.
I know that y'all had, I know she wasn't always necessarily 100% in your corner the whole time, and it took her a little minute to maybe be like, okay, I can see you actually doing this. So
Yeah.
talk to me about that a little bit.
High key, it still is, you know, I think it still is sort of just like a hobby, you know what I mean? Like, all of these records are made for me with you in mind, you know, and I'm still doing it with them. So it's like, really,
Right.
all of this is still, like, I don't, you know, I view this as not my name, but my legacy. So if in this moment I am not doing music full time and I'm not running all over having the best time ever doing it, that's okay, because I'm still giving my all with the music that I'm making over this stuff. Like, so I'm still having a hard time, even, it's not a hard time, I don't know, but I'm still having an interesting time, even with this record right now, because it is like a lot more views and a lot more eyes than I'm used to. But it ain't gonna get to me. It's still, you know, keep a day job. Keep a day job for real. Keep a day job. And that's not to say, I'm actually doing great, especially for my age and my timeline and all this. And like, you can see it. And I was like, everything's going really well. But high key, I just like, I think that it's good to be able to, there'll be a time. Magic Alive is closer. It's closer, but not yet.
Right. Excuse me. And I know, sorry. I'm I'm asthma I'm an asthmatic, bro. I'm sorry. it No, you're good. I got
I didn't
mine.
laugh at that, bro.
No, no, you're so good. It's that was just funny. like you just said something really beautiful, and I didn't want to ruin the moment. I was like, am I gonna be able to make it through this without coughing? But I was gonna ask about your relationship with Sam Cough, because funny enough, Sam fucking Cough. But y'all, I mean, like y'all have been, I mean, like y'all have been making music for forever, like basically like as far back as like 2021,
Yeah,
2020, maybe even earlier than that.
yeah,
And like he's played what's it called, he's played such a crucial role in like developing the McKinley Dixon sound. So like, when did y'all first meet? How did that relationship come about? And what do you like, what has he brought, or I mean, like outside of like being one of the main producers you work with, like what else has he brought to like the McKinley Dixon project?
yeah. So that would be going through my timeline. So all my records are right here besides my Bastard Middle Childhood for the same record. So this one, Who Taught You to Hate Yourself, 2016, The Importance of Self-Belief, 2018, and For My Mama, 2021. All three of those records I was producing, right? So what I would do back in Virginia, back when I was in Richmond, is I would take my Bluebird microphone that I still got set up right there. I would unhook it from my stand and I put it in my backpack, and I would take the mic stand, put it between my backpack and my back, and I would like see it. I would go on Facebook and I'd be like, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, like a decade or something. Need harp today, need guitar today, need keys, need bass. Who's in the city right now, right? So this was 2000, like 15, right? And I would just find these people, we all were at a certain point in our lives where we weren't the best, but we were working on it. So we would come together every time I make a record, and then we would separate out, go about our lives, and I'd be like, I need help with this, come back to it again. Sam Koff is Sam was great. Sam is part of this really great brass band. Richmond has a lot of brass bands. Richmond has a lot of incredible music, but it has a lot of brass bands, and an incredible brass band called No BS Brass, right? So Sam played trumpet on my stuff, not this record, The Importance of Belief and For My Mama. He was originally playing trumpet on that, right? So I would have him do all of the trumpet lines. And then eventually it got to a point with For My Mama that once that was done, this one took me about 2 years to make in the city. Once For My Mama was done, I was like, I need to figure out a way to, like, I need to make something new. I need to make something different. I need to figure out quality, right? Like, I love how For My Mama sounds, but it does sound like me arranging all of this, bringing it together, putting things, you know what I mean? It's like a very, very, like, Frankenstein sort of way of stitching it all together, right? But with, with Sam Koff, I was like, Sam was in the brass band and is a producer. So Sam knows arrangements and knows production. So I was like, and then he sent me a couple beats back in 2000 and like 21, 22. I think it's 21. And then was like, what do you think of these? And I was like, these are incredible. This is a great next step to my sound, is a way to compose it, and like, not only is it all, because the funny thing is, I'll tell you right now, my band, For My Mama Ain't Like Her, up until this point, that's 3 records in, I was not using a click track, bro. I hated using click tracks. It was literally, it's like my bassist being like, my nigga, this BPM is like 120, you need to fucking put a click track. And I was like, I will put a click track. Chain So Heavy on For My Mama sounds like that because there's no click track. I wasn't using click track. You can hear niggas laughing because niggas is fucking up, right? And I'll put your fuck up in there too. I don't care. So it was just like, I was just Frankensteining all of this shit together. And then I was like, I need more structure. If I'm gonna get bigger, I'm gonna make it so I can actually be in it. Like, the next step is making it more cohesive. So Sam came in, and then I was like, I love these beats. Let's make a record. We then got together and made Beloved Paradise Jazz, which was, you know, it was a record that put me into another realm than I was before, right? It was a very cohesive
Mm-hmm.
sound. It was a very classic sound, and it still incorporated, like, and since we're all from that city, and Sam is in a brass band, we had all the instruments that we needed because everybody is at home. You know what I mean? We all came together over time. And I've been working with all these niggas for the last like 8 years at this point. So now every song we can find whatever we needed, right? Well, no idea. Like, I didn't produce as much, but what I brought to Sam was the fact that I was encouraging him to be like, do not worry about the idea. If I say it's a big grand idea, we'll be able to do it. You know what I mean? Like, and if you have a big grand idea, we'll be able to do it. Do not worry. Do not like hold yourself to that. Right? So that was the big thing with Sam Koff in Love and Paradise Jazz. And that's how I know Sam now. And then it's now in Magic Alive. Love Sam.
Right. Excuse me. And you know, like of course, on Magic Alive, it was you and a bunch of it was you and a bunch of these people coming back again to like flesh things out even further. But then you throw in somebody like Sammy Yamaha,
Hmm.
who you had met like around the time this record started coming together, and he brought something completely different
Hmm.
to the experience. So like talk to me about what Sammy Yamaha brought to the sound of Magic Alive.
Yeah, so all of my music up until Magic Alive was done, in Richmond. Even though I didn't live there anymore, like all of my musicians, all my homies, my rhythm section, my live band, like Sam's in Richmond, like all these, it's just when you want to make a record that sounds as joyous as Magic Alive sounds, and Beloved Paris Jazz in a way, you sort of go back home. Like it's a celebration in and of itself to be able to make it through time as long as you do. So I think that just the thought and the energy of being able to come back and be like, it's great to see you again, it's enough to make a beautiful record. Especially with the amount of time. But Sammy Yamaha was cool because that was the first time somebody had studied, you know what I mean? Had actually been like, what is a McKinley? Like, I found my first McKinley Dixon type beats last summer, I think, on the internet, which is pretty crazy. But this one was like actually the first to give you a reference of how much Sammy knew exactly what I was. The first beat he sent me was could have been different. Like that.
Oh wow.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. He was like, I love your sound. This is this is me trying to like show you how much I love your sound. And I was like, I feel the love. So I took it back to everybody back home, took it to Sam Coughlin. I was like, I mean, yeah, this is it. This is how we take Beloved Paradise Jazz's warm, sort of cohesive, jazzier sound, and this is how we make it more quick. This is how we make it like magic. This is how we. So it just made sense to bring Sammy into there because just the production on it, it just sounds so alive. You know?
Right. And you know, like that's the that's the thing I've loved about your music since I've really started to super dig into it, is that it sounds alive, it sounds organic, it's very lush, you know, like very like forest greens. Like we were talking about like summer weather and shit before. Like Magic Alive in particular, like all your music, but this new one in particular is a very summery album. Like it
Yeah,
sounds like outside,
yeah,
but like obviously like there's a lot of contrast just in like the stuff that you talk about in your music. And one thing I found really interesting about Magic Alive as an album is that, as opposed to the previous two that were like really drawing directly from like real life experiences that you were going through, that were like obviously put to story,
yeah.
and like a narrative was made out of it, you said that Magic Alive is the first one where you like made the narrative from scratch and kind of went about like 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 you like you're obviously still pulling from real life, but you said that you went out to make a story
Exactly.
for the first time.
Yeah.
Please elaborate more on that, especially considering that this is like, I think I even mentioned this in my piece, it feels like reading a graphic novel,
Hmm.
you know, like,
Yeah.
so like please break this down for me.
Yeah. So I I have this blessing and this curse with my music where because my music is so vulnerable, all of my stories are so from the heart, and because I don't really make it, I don't believe I don't believe that artists should process through the records they release like that. I believe that processing should happen outside of that, should expel, right? So I do a lot of
Mm.
my work outside of the record, but expelling is a whole different thing than processing. Expelling is a lot of like, what am I feeling? I need to expel this energy. You know what I mean? So a lot of records, it's like a lot of records is expelling to me. I think that it's better to do that. I expel a lot on my record, right? And I think that that's then, which is healing in ways for me, but and healing for others, but then it sort of allows others to feel like they know me very intimately. You know what I mean? Because it's just inherent in my music. It's
Right.
like it's just inherent. You hear my music and you're like, not only in the lyrics, in the stories, but also in like the instrumentals. You can tell everybody is there. You know what I mean? You can tell everybody's there. Even I personally use we when we talk, when I rap, because we is like a great way to make it so that there is this big, like, this connection right there. So I foster that, right? I foster it. At the same time, I was getting a lot of moments where I would be on stage and I'd do about an hour set and then I'd get off stage and lovingly people come up to me and they'd sort of be like, I love your music. And I'm like, thank you so much. And then they'd be like, you're my family brother this time. You know, and I'm like, damn, you know, like,
I was gonna ask about this. Yeah.
exactly. It's like, damn, you know, I feel for you. I don't know what to say in the moment, you know, like, and there's like genuine, like, and it would be depending on like the city. It's like 3 or 4 a night. You know what I mean? Like it can hit in like a sold out
Yeah.
show. It's like every person comes up and it's like, my you know, this reminds me of my dad. This reminds me of my sister. It's like it just it's not a lot, but it is something. And I think that is just one of the moments. Sort of like there's a lot of individual moments, but that's one of the moments and one of these situations where I just felt like, okay, Beloved Paradise Jazz was me mapping out my view of the world through what I learned through Toni Morrison. She, that album is mapped out like her trilogy. There's 3 parts of it. Every 3 songs, like a new part or some shit. It's very, very literary, right? So I was like, what is a way for me, a rapper who is so personal, to keep myself and myself to me while also giving something vulnerable, right? And I was like, a story.
Right.
I was like, let's make a story. Let's make a story that's, well, there's a lot that, but baseline was like, let's make a story, right? What is, what if, what if we don't say it is me now and we say it is that, you know? And from
Yeah.
there, that then made it, that is why I feel like this is the first record that is the least of me while still being from my cinema, my MCU, McKinley Cinematic Universe. You know,
There you go. There you go.
so
Yeah. Nah. Like. Yeah. Like I can. I mean, having been to as many shows as I've been to and seeing people, like it's always really amazing for me to see fans get to go up and talk to their favorite artists and tell those kinds of stories. But I can only imagine how exhausting mentally that has to be. Just like, like you obviously want to give people time to, you want to give people time and space to be able to like express themselves. But it's just like like that's heavy, like you're
yeah,
like I don't want to overblow it too much, but it can kind of be almost like trauma bonding a
exactly,
little bit.
exactly.
And like it's that can be a lot to do even one time, never mind like 3 or 4 times a night at a show. And kind of like, like even comparing Run 1 to Run 2,
Mm-hmm.
like just like what you're talking about on those songs and like the general feeling of them, like there's like a much more dire like there's like a dire immediacy
Mm-hmm.
to Run 1 that just isn't there on Run 2. It's like Run 2 is like it's brighter, and you can kind of feel the personal remove,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Like you can definitely feel that barrier, that degree of separation
Yeah,
between like McKinley the artist and all these kids who are trying to, like, just like the magical realism of like, oh, like our friend died, let's actually try to bring him back to life and incorporate this magic thing. And then it starts to like slip into like Coheed and Cambria, like Full Metal Alchemist
Yeah.
type
It's
shit,
like,
and then
oh
and then, you know,
no. Yeah.
just like the like I couldn't like I can't listen to a song. The one that grabbed me this time was All the Loved Ones. Like All the Loved Ones, like I'm listening to it and hearing the three of y'all just cook, and all I can think of is the third episode of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where Ed and Al's mom dies and they try to bring her back with alchemy,
Exactly.
and Ed loses his fucking arm and leg, and Al loses his whole body, and Ed's just on the ground, and he's just like, "What do I need to do to bring my brother back?" Like, oh, he's like, "Take my arm, take my leg, take my heart,
Exactly.
whatever." And then he does the shit and casts the soul into the suit of armor. Like it's, and you're like, not even, and like I'm not even going there because I can't relate to what you're talking about. I can 1,000% relate to what you're talking about. But it's just so vivid, and even just from the cover,
Yeah.
like the cover really is like, I just appreciate when people take cover art seriously, like especially like people who are so story and narrative driven like you, because it made it so easy for me to just like, it's all just like every song is a splash page.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know, like
Exactly.
that's the ill shit to me. Like every song on this album is a splash page.
Exactly.
There's so much action happening, so much color, but also just like so much grief and dread and it's all looming overhead. Like
Yeah.
you can't see it like you can like I can see it on the other albums.
Exactly.
You can't see it here, but you can feel it, and that's almost more scary, like knowing that it's there but not knowing where it is,
Yeah. Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely like this record. It was just, since I try to learn and live with the intentions of my everyday life and put them into the record, you know what I mean? This one was what I learned from Toni Morrison is that moments are beautiful and harrowing, not separate. You know what I mean? It's like these, like, it is all wrapped up into, an existence. And it's like, I cannot, I cannot make a record. We can even do, like, and I've said this one, but my big record a lot of folks know me for is For My Mom and Anyone Who Would Like It, right? Which is an album actually about Uncle Tyler Johnson, me dealing with, like, like being in the city when it happened in that night. You know what I mean? Like after leaving it so long, like the whole thing, right? It's very relevant to me, whatever. But that is the album that everyone knows from the beginning. A lot of folks. But the record before that is literally called The Importance of Self-Belief. And it's a joyous record. And quality aside, it's still in the same vein as, like, it's more like I'm like, it is incredible to be black and alive. But one record got me popularity and the other record did it. And I think it's just an interesting sort of thing how even something like that, and it sounds far-fetched, but it's like, those records were still me, but Make a Poet Black is a big song of mine. That was like, it's a very hard song, and I think I was like, I can't just keep giving, at a certain point, talking about my specific dead homie is like, I'm just appropriating the carcass, you know what I mean? It's like, really, it's not even like, I'm talking about the nigga who killed him more than my nigga, So I've had to be like, I cannot just continue to use these records to process and so after For My Mama, my trilogy really started, kind of as like For My Mama, Beloved, this one. Like that's when it sort of became to be like, okay, how do I move towards not only this chaotic aspect of my music and how I'm producing it to a more cohesive sound, but also me processing in a very chaotic all over, and also just a young way. I was younger, a very young, decade ago, right? So young way to processing in like a way that is beneficial. And I think that's why I also bring in others, bring in Sam to line that up. But it's more so just to be like, Magic Alive is the culmination of me being like, not every moment has to be so polarizing. In fact, it can all be everything. And though it is hard to describe, if you are writing about what you know and what you feel and what you love, you'll do that so easily. You know, it's like all the loved ones is about my mom. You know what I mean? But it actually isn't about my mom. You know, it's like it's more my like it is. A lot of the verses are about my mother, but my verse is actually dealing with the overwhelming weight of not being home because I'm outside. You know, it's like because I'm doing music. It's like just even being like, if you don't take this fucking picture, I'm putting like that feel, I guess. That's the summer that my mama was a soldier, but the picture now is on that song to grind it down. Moment, of course, not to not be, but I know that my soldier, but I never tell her all of my things. You know, it's like, it's more so just, it's like, I love my mom's having a hard time. You know what I mean? We're outside rejoice. It's like, we're outside rejoice. Till death do us sin, never ram us against raise hand to my kin, sin on the man who can barely his man, the only way to make it something that they can't. You know, it's like my grandfather and my grandmother. So it's like this sort of thing where I was like, I can mix it up. Like I can really make it so you can get glimpses of the beauty and the beast all at once. They don't down in separate. They don't down in so that's what Magic Live. That's all to say, roundabout way. That's how. Then there's everything else that happens outside of it, like knowing everybody who's been on the record for a decade, you know, writing how I write, the way that I write. It all comes together to make a record that is not just one thing.
And you know that's a really difficult thing to juggle and not let not let one emotional aspect outweigh the other, because it's just like that's one of the things that really strikes me about this album is how, like, once again, how bright and colorful it sounds, but how harrowing a lot of the content can be. Not all of it is, you know, but like there's just always that, like, there's always this like bittersweet melancholy aspect to it where it's like not all the way good, not all the way bad, but it's just all there at once, and like juggling all those emotions and all that perspective and all that like history
Yeah,
is like it's like these are like very charged songs because of that, and this is a very charged album, and I love the I'm big on contrast. So just like seeing like the bright greens and blues and browns and yellows, and then just like having people, I mean, like even just like you and Bishop and Sifu's verses on All the Loved Ones. It's just and then just like and then like that contrasting against like how bright and full the production is. It's just like, how can you not get swept up in that?
exactly.
It's really difficult to not get swept up in that type of thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it really is like, I mean, the story. I mean, there's so much. We'll have to have a full conversation about everything and all of it, really. But it's like I wanted to make it so there's so much intention in all of it. You know, it's the story of three kids trying to bring back one of their friends they lose, and trying to find ways, only to find out like the only way to stay alive forever through song and dance. You know, so it's like you take that and then you don't even really like you don't have to make like that sounds like a crazy concept, but really it's not that wild. You know, you just strip it back, make it super simple because now that I found a way, and this comes from, you know, a lot of my like doing animation stuff like that, but finding out how to make a concept simple then allows me to make it incredibly dense. You know, it's like, I don't, like, all I said was that one line. You listen to the record, you can hear it. You know what I mean? You can hear the laughter, you can hear the running, you can hear the yelling, you can hear the chaoticness, you can hear, like, us being
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, we're losing them, we're losing them. Like, oh no, we just brought him back. Like, what do we do? You know, it's like, I think once I made it a very simple idea, I could then be like, how do I stretch my stories and how do I mix them up with what I experience to give something that is so charged? Because it's also like magic. Like the way I did Magic Alive is I took the broke the title down. I was like, what is magic and what is alive? How can I describe these two words? It's like it is magic, comma, and then alive. I can all of this, like all the Paradise Jazz, beloved Paradise Jazz, magic, comma, it's two separate things. I'm like, what is magic? I'm like, fiery, beautiful, unexpected, like, love, inherence, earthly. You know what I mean? And I was like, what is, and then childlike, wonder. You know, and then what is alive? It's like thriving, survive, childlike, wonder, um, earth. Like a lot of things that I found would line up between these two words. And then I made the album. I like kept those words in mind when I was playing the album because I'm also a firm believer of I'm a firm believer that if you want to make something that lasts forever, which is a big part of the album's theme, you make something for children. Because if children can hear it and grasp what I'm saying on this record, you know what I mean? And like the concept of, oh, what do we do now that we don't have our friend? It's like, well, like there's ways that you can always remember your friend, and that's the concept of it. It's like right there, okay, so now I made something that will have longevity because everybody can understand it and everyone can hear these sort of feelings and everyone can see all of this. And it's like, I just have to figure out, the hard part is figuring out how to make that come across on every song. And then it sounds like it's the hard part, but then you go back to me knowing everybody for 13 years, and it's just already a celebration. So that is then the
Right.
outside
Yeah.
rejoice sounds like it sounds because everybody has been here. We're all happy to have made it this far. You know what I mean? It's like boom,
Right.
bop, bam, right there. You got the magic of Magic Alive through the instrumentation, through the intention, and through sort of like each individual song's world that it goes. And that's not even to go and talk about how I actually write the song. So it sounds so convoluted in a way, but it is all connected.
Right. And now, I mean, like hearing all of that, I would be interested to hear more about your writing process, but I also want to go back to what we were talking about a little earlier and like where animation and things came in to inspire this record. I mean, like you talked specifically about Satoshi Kon, so like if you want, maybe we could start there. But like how, like what other inspirations did you pull from animation that, like whether it's your work or stuff that you're inspired by that further helped to shape this record, and how did that contribute to your writing process, if
Yeah,
it did at all?
yeah. So we could even do. So there's a couple that I can pull my direct influence from. Satoshi Kon is a big one, but the other one, which you probably can see when it makes sense, is the motherfucking legend. Oh God, where is this fucking at? I do not want to put that too long. You know this nigga. No, I'm looking for the Saki Yuasa. Saki Yuasa, who is the creator of Kaiba, is the creator of fucking his catalog goes on and on. Titanma Galaxy, The Night is Long Ago Walk On. Let's see, fucking Mind Game, like Blue Over the Garden Wall. Japan, like he's just keep your hands off Ezuken. Like he just makes such whimsical, magical pieces of film, especially with his movies, that I think what I also love about like specifically Eastern, like I'm naming a lot of Eastern animators because the difference with Eastern animation is that I think they also just don't care. You know what I mean? Like it really
Yeah.
is like, they're like, who do I need to answer to? This film is not a big box office movie either way. So I can make what I want and I can take 5 years to draw every single,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I think I really love just even that with both of these artists. And we could even say Watanabe because Toshiro Watanabe, he made Cowboy Bebop and all of those, the legendary ones. Even with his
Yep.
first
Yep.
work,
Yep.
like Cowboy Bebop, you know, and this might blow niggas' minds. Sorry if this is spoiling it for y'all, but a lot of cartoons are made because of toy sales. A lot of cartoons are made because of
Yeah, man.
a lot of niggas, I know this nigga knows, but just so niggas know, a lot of cartoons, favorite cartoon is probably for a toy sale. Ben 10 was to sell toys, it's like number one selling toy and like cartoon, like, you know what I mean? So it's like a lot of these niggas are made for toy sales, right? So they came to, I think, I want to say Sunrise, maybe, or Namako, I don't know which one it was. One of them came to, Watanabe and was like, I want you, like, Star Trek is huge. I want you to make a space show that this can go on. We can make a bunch of toys and a bunch of shit for it. Let's say, like you're the director for space. We want you to be a big thing. He was like, Actually, I don't really fuck with that. This show is it's gonna be really hard to sort of market, but it's gonna be 26 episodes. You know what I mean? And it made Cowboy Bebop stay in limbo for a while because like he just was like, no, this is not my vision. I cannot do a Star Trek. Like I cannot do forever. And I think I really love that when it comes to Eastern animation, like specifically like that. And I think with these three directors, their catalog alone also goes through reality and time so nonchalantly that is what I try to mimic when I make specifically Magical Live. All of my records, yeah, but specifically Magical Live, where it's like, I don't want you to question the fact that we are now casting spells. And now I don't want you to question the fact that we're sitting under a tree. I don't want you to question the fact that we're in the back of the Cadillac. You know what I mean? I don't want you to question that we just saw, like, we just saw a man come back to life. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is the beauty of those three directors specifically. That you don't need to question. You don't need to be like, what's going on? You're like, oh, this is their world that they've made. Even if you ain't seen their other works, you know what I mean? One time is a little different because he is very casual with his like stuff like that, but the casuality of all of it is just, the fact that you can bring characters so easily in, someone who you've never seen before of a different race also, and then like sort of, this whole person's backstory just by how they look and then how they talk and then what they do when they interact with this character for 5 minutes. That's just that's what I try to do in all my work. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's
Yeah.
like I want you to know exactly who Teller Banks is the moment you hear him. It's like,
Yeah.
you know exactly who Alfred is once you hear them on my record in their program, so I digress. That's how those three directors, I think those three directors was like the main influence and what I took from them.
Yeah, and I mean, like now that you brought up Teller and Alfred, like
Whew.
I don't know, just like all these, these players, these players that are on quite a few of your albums, and just like the way that they embody these characters and really flesh out the world, like this, like I don't listen to this and think of it as a concept album, even though it very much is. Like technically speaking, it's a concept album.
Mm-hmm.
It's like textbook definition,
Yeah.
but because it feels so lived in and it's so insular, and all these people fit in so well, like I don't, like I'm not listening to a song like Crooked Stick with Gais and Alfred and thinking that this is like a song featuring Gais and Alfred. It feels to me like they're playing characters, and it's a chapter in a book
Exactly.
or a scene in a play, like, and it's just set to music.
Exactly.
Like that's how it feels,
Exactly.
and like that's, like that's like this album. Like this album, these last two albums are very proggy in that way. Like this really feels like a. This really feels like a. I hate to put it in these terms because I don't want to like trivialize, but it really does feel like a. It feels like a rap album. It feels like a rapper's take on a progressive rock album,
Mm.
in that specific way.
Right.
Like yeah. I mean, like once again, I hope that's not stupid, but
No,
like
not at all.
that's kind of like what I've been mulling on that ever since I first listened to the album, and I'm like, this kind of reminds me of like some progressive rock shit, like I mentioned Coheed earlier. Like I'm a big Coheed and Cambria fan. Like I very much hear like Amory Wars type shit in
Yeah,
here.
definitely. Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
yeah,
And it's also so that can also be made into another point because I came up, a lot of my formative music years were in Richmond, Virginia, right? So now Richmond, Virginia, it's a very famous Eastern store, like West Southern, like it's a very famous punk city. Like Wars from Richmond, Virginia. It's like very, like Richmond, Virginia in the 80s was like an issue because of like skinhead, like punk fest. So like when I came up in Richmond, it was sort of at the change of a lot of things. We'd had one generation before us in the form of, Obliv and Booker Brown and things like that. And then came my generation, which was like, gave rise to like Fly Animal, gave rise to me, it gave rise to even artists that weren't, even artists like it's like, they all came out of the sort of first break off of like Richmond trying to figure out what it was post punk. And that's also at the time where house shows were happening all the time, right? So house shows were just every week. Like my first year out with a band, we did like 42 shows because we were doing every weekend in Richmond. Like that was what was like the line of punk house shows, and we were like new genres. So a lot of my formative time, and I was doing with a band. So and I listened to a lot of like, Michael Rollins, we were bringing that up, but like when a lot of these artists that we know now were touring through my city, it'd be like, how do we do a mix bill? We get a rapper with a DJ, then we get McKinley Dixon and band. I was going by McKinley and Friends at the time. And then we get a punk. So like a lot of my influence, a lot of my timeline, I've actually heavily been into hardcore, so that's another reason why like the theatrics of this album sound like they do, because not only was My Chemical Romance the first time where I was like, whoa, niggas can wear eyeliner and make a fucking black opera album, but it was also like, oh, the theatrics that I'm not finding in rap music, I need to find elsewhere. You know what I mean? I cannot
Right.
stay. Like, there are theatrics in rap music, but the theatrics that I am drawing from, I cannot stay in this one. So that's what I'm saying. I also came up with something. That's all to say. It sounds like like it is because it's me being like,
Right.
it's me trying to pick all my.
Right. And yeah, no, I definitely hear the hardcore influence
Yeah,
in here too. But like obviously, like this is like yeah, like you're not taking like the ASAP Rocky West Side
yeah,
Gun, like I'm an artist, fuck a
exactly,
rapper, I'm an artist approach.
exactly.
This is very much a rap album. You're making rap music. You're very adamant and clear about that, which I appreciate because I know a lot of people get kind of like I have a lot of feelings about genre blending and live band rap because of this.
100%.
But like your stuff doesn't do that, which I really appreciate. Like, and like even somebody like like Odyssey and Black Milk are two people who like they've kind of changed their Odyssey more so than Black Milk, because Black Milk kind of went back to just like digging in the crates.
Exactly.
But like Odyssey makes the one of the reasons I love him so much, like his later work, is because it's all like he makes it in MIDI.
Yes.
He has his band play it, and then he samples everything his band plays the old
Exactly.
fashioned way.
Exactly.
Which is like my personal, like, if you're gonna incorporate live elements in there, that's my favorite way to hear it happen, because it's very easy for it's we love the roots. It's very easy for you to become like the fucking coffee house dudes who like put out an
Exactly.
album at Starbucks
Exactly.
and like and kind of have this like highfalutin air to you that's like there are just certain like live band element type things where it's just like, oh, like look how sophisticated and interesting I am compared to all, I'm not like these other, like just on some like talented 10th type shit.
Exactly.
And that's pissed me off my entire life. But you don't do that. Your music has never given me that vibe. And I really, yeah, all of that to say that you're not doing that. But it's something I've been thinking about a lot, especially over the last like 5-6 years. So I'm always coming to stuff. I mean, like, I'm somebody who plays instruments. I play bass, I play djembe, I play piano.
Mhm.
So like I know what an instrument is and I know what they bring to the table. But but like I personally tend to get very like prickly when people get too comfortable, or like it's really hard to put into words.
But yeah, yeah,
I just don't like it
yeah,
when people get hoity-toity about that shit.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just appreciate it when people who make music the way you make music don't get hoity-toity about it. So
Yeah. Thanks.
yeah.
No, I love rapping. Honestly, the crazy thing about me too is that like, you know, I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is a little bit, but I think because of that, I don't really get approached in a lot of rap spaces. It's like I think me maneuvering it through how I know indie and DIY giving me a really great position because it does allow me for a lot of access to certain places that others aren't allowed in. But with that, I've always been my nigga good. But I think that rap music just hasn't really like rap. I think niggas see my album cover and they're like, jazz or really weird fucking Japanese record that I don't know about. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I feel, and it's not to say like your average like rap fan does not acknowledge or not know what my shit is. But it's interesting. Like my biggest features on like Soul Glow.
Yeah, right.
No, it's like that's like, and it's like I'm on Guys' record. That was a big thing. Was like Guys is fucking. It's an interesting thing because technically I am a very like well received rapper. You know, and I think niggas think I'm gonna be like I'm not a rapper. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. I'm not. It's like no, bro. I love being a rapper. It is so dope that I can put a harp and have a fucking orchestral arrangement, and I'm also rapping. Like that is the coolest fucking thing. And get like niggas to do the fucking shit. So I don't know. I think people are a little off put, and they are a little like, what is he gonna be like? But this is just that myself. Like shit,
Yeah,
like you
nah.
know, you're not gonna. I'm not gonna be on the internet like that, man. Defending, like I'm actually the greatest rapper, you know. It's like
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you just gonna see the work is going, you know, the work. So,
Yeah.
and I do wish I was
Exactly.
more.
See, that's fine.
You know,
Like we'll yeah, no, we'll take that.
it,
But like you said, like the work speaks for itself. You're doing really good stuff. It's really interesting. It's out there, but not like your work's not abstract. It's like it's actually very straightforward.
right.
At least at least in terms of like what you're about. I mean, like you're telling stories in your music, and obviously that like that requires like attention and like care and all that stuff. But like your mission as an artist seems pretty clear to me. But like this is also just coming from somebody who's heard most of your music and has been following you for a little while. But like I don't know. It's just like these are just like the questions that I have as somebody who writes and documents and is a part of this for a living, and of course somebody like you who like makes music. Like these are just the things we think about, and it's always good to like remind ourselves that like like we're not alone and we're here for a good reason.
Exactly.
I that's yeah, that's all I really had to say
No,
about
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. I appreciate it because it is an affirmation.
yeah,
It is an affirmation. For a while. I get that.
yeah, man, this has been such a. I feel like this could go on for like another 2 hours.
Good. It
This has been
definitely could. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, no, this has been crazy. But to formally wrap this up, Dix, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
Shit, probably talking dog that comes with me into the office while I go learn how to be a marine biologist. Shit. Shit. That's what my shit would be about. You thought I brought that up just to fucking that's what it'd be about. Yeah, talking dog. That'd be, I mean, I'm trying to get my marine biology degree.
Yeah, no, you got to come up with a better title than teacher's pet, but you don't got to do that right now.
Water teacher's pet.
Okay.
I got it, nigga.
Son. Oh, that's crazy. I can't even. Yo. Oh man, McKinley, thank you so much.
Thanks for
bro. Like yeah, I'm so happy we could do this. I knew this was going to be a fun deep dive type of situation. Like
cool.
Just like once again, you're pulling from not even just different genres of music, but like full on different mediums. Like you're a full blown animator, and I don't know, just like I knew I knew that your perspective was going to be one that I couldn't wait to hear. And
thank you.
Like you took it there like I thought you'd take it there. So I just appreciate you. I appreciate you being game, and once again just kind of occupying this area where you're like a rapper, you're a musician, you're an animator, you're like they're like I can't think of many other people who are in that specific position.
Thanks.
And hearing it come out through the music is really cool. So
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time. Truly.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Oh man, yeah, no, it's my pleasure. It's this is all I want to do ever. So
Exactly. I feel you. Me too.
hell yeah.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.